Okay, we're getting started. Welcome everybody to our weekly leadership Zoom. I am super excited as usual because it is Tuesday. It is payday. It never gets old, does it? Like getting paid every Tuesday. It's like woo woo. Um, but I'm also super excited because as usual we have an amazing call Zoom that's about to happen today with another amazing 200K leader who graciously said, absolutely, I will hop on and share. And I never stop being so grateful for the fact that every single person in this company is just so gracious and awesome when it comes to helping sidelines out and doing things for sidelines. And that's a special thing, guys. I don't think you realize in other companies that does not happen in a lot of them. So I am so excited that Molly Haskins, 200K with Lavelle, has decided to hop on with us today and share her story and tips with us. Molly, you'll probably have to unmute yourself. You there? Hold on a minute. Oh, hey, Molly, are you unmuted? Molly, can you hear me? Hold on, let's see. Let me message Molly quick because I'm thinking she's having a little issue. Yes, she's having an issue. Hold on. She's going to try logging back in. I'm telling her really quick. Okay, she's doing it now, guys. Hang tight. Technical difficulties. We are used to those. Just love technology because we can always 100% count on it to work correctly. See if we can get. I unmuted Molly, so she's unmuted. Can you hear me, Molly? I know, Lacey. It'll be worth the wait. We'll figure it out.
Hey, Lise, what about having her get off and get back on?
Yeah.
Have her log out and then get back on.
Yeah, she did. She's trying it again, though. We'll get it working. Sometimes people hit the wrong thing, audio, when they first log on. So I'm wondering if that's it.
Hey, it's Amber. I'm wondering if because I saw that she literally is unmuted, but I wonder if her microphone is like turned off or something, like on her phone.
I'm going to check with her. Hold on. I am trying to help her out here. Because sometimes people, when they come on, it gives you the two different options right when you log in. And sometimes people hit the wrong one. Okay, hang tight, everybody. We'll get it working. Holy crosses, Amber. I don't think I've ever noticed that wall before. I can also have her dial in the number.
I think I just turned off my video. I was going to say something about my crosses, and I think I just turned off my video. Oh, there it is.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
Oh, there's Molly.
I'm here.
Molly!
Hi.
Yay, it's working.
I am
Hey,
so sorry, you guys. I've done this a million times. I have no idea. I had to do it from my phone today.
you know what? It's happened to me before too, where I don't know what's going on lately, but the sound will kick in for a minute and then like I can't hear the other person. I can see their mouth moving, but I can't hear them. So it's so weird. Yeah. I don't know if
I'm
it's like
so
a glitch.
sorry. I hope you weren't talking to me for a long time while I was just sitting there
Oh my
staring
God,
at you.
no, we're just getting started. So first of all, I want to thank you for hopping on with us today and sharing your story and tips. And we'll just jump right in. I would love for you to share what were you doing before you got into network marketing? And then did you ever do any kind of network marketing besides Lavelle? And then how did you find Lavelle?
Sure. Well, first of all, my story starts over 6 years ago. I was working 12-hour shifts as a neurosurge nurse at the Mayo Clinic. I was doing the thing where I would work the 12 hours and then I would come home with nothing left in the tank. But I loved my job. I loved what I was doing. But the person that I wanted to be kind of inside my head just really didn't match how I was feeling on the outside. So I had gotten myself into a little bit of a rut. In terms of network marketing, I had begun during that rut. I thought, you know what, maybe I just need to find something to do. Maybe I just need to find some me time. Maybe there's going to be something that a kind of an outlet for me. And I saw, actually, it was on the news about these women who were going around and selling jeans at a party. And these jeans had like the sparkle butt and, all the rhinestones and the stitching. And I thought, oh my gosh, how fun. Like you get to go and try on jeans and, drink wine and have these fun little parties. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to see what this is all about. I Googled and I became connected to Vault Denim through Brittany Beneke. She was out of Iowa, and I just liked the way how she came up in Google, and called her, and she was just really fun. So I don't recall how long it was, but I did the thing where I lugged, I think it was about a year, where I lugged heavy bags of, full of denim blue jeans to people's houses, in the evenings. And it really wasn't quite as glamorous as I thought it was going to be. It was really, first of all, a lot of work to get, 7 bags full of denim, then, lug in the tables, and then set up, unload all those jeans, and then, set up the tables, unload the jeans, then, have the party. Sometimes I was having, unloading all these jeans and like 2 people would show up. Or then it got to the point where once all of my friends had their parties, I kind of exhausted that, and it was very stressful to get people to have parties with me. However, I started to meet more and more people through convention and different things in Vault Denim. And I instantly became a fan of what the MLM can do in terms of relationships, and just these women who are just working their butts off and making big things happen for their families, stepping outside of their comfort zone. And I saw people that were starting to earn these paychecks that I thought were just so crazy, all from just selling jeans. So I definitely was a fan of that side of it. However, I got pretty burnt out on the hauling jeans around side of it. So started to kind of phase out of that. but still kept very close in touch with Brittany Beneke and a lot of the women that I was involved in Vault Denim with, Sheila Fasoni, Maria Dillard, Jen Ellis. These were my Vault Denim people. So Brittany and I got together the day after Christmas in 2014, and I sat across the table from her, and something was different. This girl was happy, excited. This was not the girl that had a new baby at home that I'd been talking to on the phone weeks earlier. And she filled me in on the scoop on kind of what was going on. And she was very nervous to tell me. I don't know if it was because I was a nurse or because, we had already done this other thing together. But she shared these 3 steps with me. She had a little trial pack. She just kind of tentatively slid it across the table. And, I tell you what, the sparkle in her was enough to create this flicker of hope within me that I would have done anything to just have a little bit of what she was sitting across the table feeling from me at that point in my life. So I went home, I did the nurse thing. I dove into what it was all about, all the stuff I needed to know. I went to the fan page. I looked at the ingredients. I asked the docs that I worked with, showed it to the other nurses. And January 1st, I had to work a 12-hour shift. And that is the day I said, you know what, let's do this. Why not? Let's give it a try. And I am a thriver for life. I haven't looked back since.
So that was 2014. Like, was that before there was even patches?
No, I actually did. They did have the DFT. They had just started again. So I had all 3 steps that I got to start with.
It's
But
so crazy to think about when you started, there was like 3 products, 4 products.
There was like 8,000 likes on the fan page.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is
insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you got started, you said, let's do this thing. And did you go fast? Like, can you give me time frames, and did you get your bonuses and all that?
I didn't say, let's do this thing, because I just wanted to feel better. And then I kind of told myself the thing that I'm sure promoters on this call have heard other people say, well, I just need to see if it works first. That silly, I was a little bit tentative about the business side of it, whether or not it was because of, just how difficult of a time I had in Vault Denim, or whether it was just my lack of confidence that I could go out and do this again. I wasn't gung-ho on promoting, but I will tell you what, the nurse in me began to have this story, and the more excited I got about my story, and the more amazed I was about just simple nutrition and the way that I was getting this good gas, the more I felt a responsibility to tell people about it. And I no matter what I felt about actually going in and being a promoter at the time, I was all in the sense that I knew that this could help people, and I knew that I had something I had to tell people about. I did not earn my bonuses. Brittany, my upline, Brittany Beneke, fabulous. She called me. She kept in touch with me. She did all the right things. But I just was so... I just was kind of taking my time, and I didn't realize at the time the importance of the bonuses in terms of helping you build and grow and come out. What an amazing, I could have had $660 on $800 in orders. I look back now and it's just silly, but I was ignorance on fire. I was just so excited about how I was feeling and telling people about that. I wasn't thinking about anything other than, just helping and coming out of the gate just with my own story. So no, I did not hit my bonuses.
I think that is, it probably wasn't cool at the time, but it's cool because there's a lot of people that think, oh, if I don't get these bonuses, that means that how many people do you see quit because they don't get those bonuses? I think they think that means they're not good at this. And it just shows that getting those bonuses in the beginning do not have anything to do with your future in the company and where you can go with it. So tell me kind of like, your time frame. How long did it take you to get to 4K and then 12, 40, 80, 200?
Sure. Well, I do want to say one thing about the bonuses, because I do agree with you. It can be overwhelming when new people come in. And so I really like to just explain to people, about that VIP mindset. And to me, it's always a way to get the ball rolling. It's truly, truly an opportunity to start building something that's residual. And I try not to stress new people out about hitting it, but I do think that at any point that you're a promoter, putting yourself back in that VIP mindset, you're giving yourself a little bit of a push to get that ball rolling again, because you've always got the opportunity to bring in those new promoters, and then always have the opportunity to at least explain to them and help them go out and earn that themselves. So I have not missed any of the resets since. Ever since, the company has done it a couple times, maybe 2 or 3, I've lost track, but the company will do the VIP reset. And since then, I haven't missed any. And I really, truly think it's a good opportunity to kind of reevaluate what that bonus is there for. It's not to freak our new people out and to make them feel like they, have to rush. It's truly an opportunity to get a way to get things kind of rolling with your business again, to kind of keep stacking. I actually did hit 4K my first month, barely by the hair of my chin, and then 12K my second month, and then by my 6th month, I had hit 200K. And to me, it was such a blessing. Like I said, I was ignorance on fire. I came out of this. I just wanted people to experience what I was experiencing. I literally couldn't believe that people weren't chasing me down the street for what I was posting about the differences I was noticing. And then, my mother's story, my husband's story, my best friend who couldn't sleep at night story. I had these stories that were really, really helping build my confidence. And I also had Paul Gravett on Tuesday and Thursday night Lavelle Live calls telling me, why wouldn't you be sharing this with everyone? He was kind of helping me realize that, you're right. It's not annoying for me to reach out to somebody when I could potentially change their entire life. It's a blessing. It's something I should be doing. I should have that confidence. And that really, really helps me, because I'm the Minnesota nice, and I didn't want to bother people. I didn't want to annoy people with my posts or my messages. And I got over that real darn quick when I realized that, I was doing a favor. I was sharing something that I felt very confidently was a blessing.
So when you think back about those first 6 months, and you said ignorance on fire, which is like, it's so crazy, because when, every week when we interview 200K, they all say that, like, you don't have to know the ingredients, you don't have to, and you were a nurse too, so you probably knew a lot more than other people as far as like, what was in what, but it's just kind of the excitement and sharing stories. And that's what matters most is really the passion that you have for
and you
what's
have to
happening
have
to you.
confidence too. I think confidence is such an important part, and I think sometimes you have to borrow other people around you's confidence, but I truly believe that ignorance on fire means that you are excited about what you know to be true, and that truth is something that you want to share with people.
Right. So when you look back at that 6 months, were you reaching out to people? Like, were you being bold, reaching out to people on Facebook, like, hey, do you know what Thrive is? Or I've got to tell you about this. And were you doing this like like mostly through social media, or were you out and about, like telling everybody? Kind of walk us through a little bit about how you were getting the word out.
I truly believe that personally, I built my business on social media. I've always been I've just kind of always been a dork. And so I've always just had kind of a goofy presence, and I was able to start kind of branding myself as I was just very excited about this. I used that Facebook fan page. I mean, I don't know if you guys, I can't even, that fan page is golden. I mean, it's the coolest thing probably in the whole entire industry, because it offers us a chance to connect people to the stories. We have a story and we are sharing our stories, but being able to validate that with however many million people like the fan page now, and story after story after story, you are going to be able to connect your friends with somebody they're going to relate to. And that fan page for me since day one has been the golden ticket. I still back then and still now have people telling me that they've read the stories or I saw that story. So I've just been really all about the stories since I started and using that fan page. Word of mouth was a little harder for me, which is in the beginning, I think maybe that's everyone. It's, whoops. Sorry, do you still, you got, okay. Maybe that's everyone, the word of mouth, you know, talking to people in public. But I tell you what, I used to beat myself up. I would stand behind a woman at Target whose child was screaming, whose other child was throwing things out of the cart, and she was buying Mountain Dew and, you know, throwing things on the cart. And I wouldn't say anything. And I would leave that Target and I would be like, should have said, I would be angry at myself. Like, I could have said something to her. I could have helped. I could have at least given her, I could have slapped a DFT on her forehead, you know? So I think it took me a little longer to have the confidence to reach out to people face to face. I think I found it easier to grow behind social media and kind of brand myself with those stories, with my excitement, with the pictures of the DFT. And, you know, still to this day, that's what I try and do. I try to brand myself as a lifestyle, as a thriver, as someone who's excited, as someone who's positive, as someone who is still loving these stories and sharing the stories.
Do you recall in the beginning, did you use third-party credibility as far as getting people in three-way messages or on three-way calls?
When I started, you know, three-way calls was the ticket. I mean, it was the key. And sometimes, you know, I've done everything the wrong way first. And I would kind of I would kamikaze people in the beginning. I don't recommend that. You know, I just have them on the phone and say, hey, I've got my other, you know, I just tie my other friend in. I wouldn't have, you know, set them up or, you know, I was just trying to figure out how it worked best for me, because asking people to get on the phone didn't really work very well for me in the beginning. People wouldn't, you know, didn't really understand that was kind of the way we did things. It's when I changed the way I approached three-way calls from, hey, would you like to talk to my friend? She knows a little bit more about this, to, hey, I really need to tie you to my friend. She's can answer all these questions, and I don't want to tell you the wrong thing because I am so excited about this. You know, I kind of changed my language, but yeah, three-way calls was the thing to do. And I loved it because you got to deal with objections and learn how to, you know, wear your objection-proof shield. For me, it was a lot of, oh, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but I used feel, felt, found a lot. But I also was able to let people start to get excited. You know, what are they looking for? Are they exhausted? Are they, you know, what is it that they hope? And then you kind of get excited because you know this is going to be a big deal, and you can make it about them and what the story is going to be when they are able to tell it. And that's what I think was the great thing about three-way calls. Not even so much as the validation, just as the voice to voice getting people excited. And now we can still do that. We use a lot more of the Facebook messaging with the voices. It's a lot easier to throw people in a Facebook message group sometimes, but I still do three-way calls and I still love them. Like I said, for the solid fact that voice to voice, being excited, letting them hear your enthusiasm, I think is a big part of the Thrive experience.
Yeah, I agree. And it like makes such a huge difference when you kind of, you know, figure out that way. And it is how you word it too. If you ask people, hey, can I get you? No, it's, hey, really quick, I'm going to get you on a call right now.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
You
know,
need
it's
this.
the delivery.
You need to hear this, that kind of a thing. I say a lot of that. Like, you need to hear this, you know, that kind of a.
Right. So you've been in like 6 years. That's a while. Like, and you went really fast too. And sometimes you're like, you go so fast and you're like, oh my gosh, like this excitement and this like wave of, you know, moving is never going to end. And then you hit walls. And, can you think of some things over the last 6 years? And I'm sure a lot of life has happened too, in 6 years, like where things have happened in your life where it's like, man, I don't feel like working this business today. Can you think of some things that have kind of set you back or you felt like were setbacks in your business?
Yeah, you know, I think that's the beauty. Well, one of two things. One of the things is, first, after 6 years, the fact that I'm still able to feel excited I still take those capsules in the morning first thing, and 30 minutes later I'm posting corny things on Facebook because I just feel so good. Like I'm still feeling my vitamins working. I'm still excited about new people starting. I think after, 6 years has gone by in a blink, and the fact that I'm still able to feel excited about it, wow, that's amazing. And I'm so lucky. This, I want to do this forever. I love it. But yes, the beauty of network marketing is that every day is a new day to start over, right? I mean, there are definitely days where I didn't do my reach outs. There are days that I told myself, it's okay. Today's, you've got a lot of other stuff going on. You can kind of take today off. But here's what I learned when those things started to creep in and life started to help me make excuses. Sheila said, I heard Sheila Fasoni say, you can work your business part-time. You can work this business full-time. You just can't work it sometimes. And I really have found that engagement is key. For those times in my life where I lost a leg, a big leg, or someone didn't hit rank, or someone left, to make it, pursue a different path. Those kind of things can really knock you down. But let me tell you, staying engaged makes all the difference, because if you take a day off, that's fine. It makes it a little easier to take the next day off. And then all of a sudden you've got a whole new routine and you're not working your business. But the more engaged you are, the more you're getting on calls and Zooms. Like, kudos to all of you who are on this Zoom today, because engagement is key. You got to keep your head in the game, and that keeping your head in the game is one of the things that's going to help you be successful in this business. You can run, you can walk, you just can't quit. And I won't quit. Everybody in this business is going to have up and down days and up and down times. You're going to have days when you are frustrated. You're going to have days when maybe your aunt, personal story, your aunt tells you you're in a cult and deletes you on Facebook. I mean, there's things that are going to happen that are out of your control, but your control the way you handle it. Tomorrow is a new day. Monday is a new week. March is a new month. There's always a time to set a goal, to start over, and to make it the best one yet. That's my philosophy.
Oh yeah, I agree, like 1000%. And when you look like at your downline over the last 6 years, where do you see, like, you see a lot of people, they go 4K quick, or they go 12K, or they hit 40K, and then all of a sudden they stall out, or they start to kind of move backwards. And what I find a lot of the time is they kind of fall into that management mode, where like now they stop doing the do and they're trying to make everybody else do it. And I think it's like one of the biggest, worst traps that a person can fall into. And usually the reason why they're not growing anymore, it's because they stopped working it. When you look at your downline and, just over the last 6 years, where do you see some things that people like start to go wrong?
Well, I think that what you just said was for me a very big thing. First of all, I'm surrounded by just this freaking amazing leadership, right? Like the women and men that we are surrounded by in Lavelle, like these rock stars, like they are like rock stars to me. Like I'm in awe still when we're just surrounded by these amazing people. And you can kind of start to play that comparison game, whether you're a promoter or, a 200K leader. You can kind of start to get caught up in that a little bit. And that's a trap. Comparison is the thief of joy. So I had to tell myself early on, I'm a different leadership style, and I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to do the things that I know I'm good at. And I let myself get kind of caught up in that leadership mode where I wasn't, paying attention to my personal business. I was, I'm going to say it, wasting time on graphics and just silly stuff that I thought my team needed in terms of resources. But, big picture, we have the most amazing resources. We have the fan page, we have the cloud office, we have team pages. Success leaves clues. And I didn't want to get caught up trying to recreate the wheels just so that I was a good leader. Leadership is leading from the front, showing people what is possible. So I really had to step out of that mode and back into running with the friends that, the people that wanted to run with me. And I think that the biggest struggle can come in when you feel like you're doing all the work on your team. I think a lot of people get stuck in between 4 and 12K because they feel they have to build that all on their own. And let me tell you, when you find your rock star to run with you, that's when the whole game changes for you in Lavelle. And all it takes is that one person. Jason Camper used to say, it's just, you are one person away from everything you've always wanted in Lavelle. And who's to say that one person isn't on your newsfeed? They're not clicking likes, but believe me, they are on the fence right now. So, keep posting, keep doing it, because maybe tomorrow's the day you're going to find your one rock star. But once you get to that 12K level, that 40K level, and you've got other people that are running with you, as long as you're still running too, you guys can go together. Instead of, trying to take everyone there, you have to go together. And I think anyone on this call who's at that on this Zoom, who's at that point where they feel like they're kind of trying to take everyone, reevaluate. You can lead 30 people, but you can't carry 3 on your back. So maybe it's time to start going back out, building those relationships, and trying to find your new runner, your next runner, and let those other people try and figure out if they're ready to run along with you or not.
I love that statement. I mean, carrying people on your back, you can't do it. It's like it's what so many people are trying to do right now.
It is. It's the number one thing people will reach out to me and say is, but my team just won't, or my team isn't, or it's, we can change.
Oh, Molly, you're muted. I don't know how we muted you. Hold on. Why are you muted? That's so weird. Hold on, I'm trying to find you to see if I can unmute you.
Am I still muted?
Nope, no, you're not. I don't
Okay,
know. That
I'm
was so
sorry.
weird. All of a sudden it just muted.
Gosh, I'm like a technical difficulty disaster today.
That's okay. That's me every day. It's totally fine. And I was thinking about, a lot of people I think that they're the only one. I'm a 12K and I feel like I only have one worker. That's really common. I with most of my 12 and 4Ks, at 4K, it's usually you're the one. And then 12K, you might have one person working with you. But the cool thing about this is you only need a couple good people. It's not thousands. You just need a couple good people to see the vision like you do. And it can take you all the way to 200K. When I
And
look back at
oh, go ahead.
no, go
Sorry.
ahead.
I was
I
going
was
to
just
say,
saying when I see my, sorry.
I'm quiet.
No, I was just gonna say when I see my organization, and I look at the people that got me to 200K, that was only a handful of people. It wasn't 1,000 people. It wasn't 100. It was like 4 or 5 people that were like, I want this, that got me to that place, and then beyond. And I think it's probably that way with everybody.
Exactly. And, just because those people aren't running with you today doesn't mean that something is going to click within them or their life and they're going to be ready in a week. Love people where they're at. You just got to keep painting the picture. I use so many Paul phrases and Jason phrases because I've heard them say so many times kind of the same things. And I think painting the picture is a really big deal because you have to help people see that this can be done. I mean, look at the people in this company that have changed their entire, financial future, all because they were passionate about, sharing the Thrive experience, knowing that it's been done left and right and quick, fast and slow, and, by all different kinds of people with all different kinds of stories, just shows that it can be done by anyone. So, painting the picture, just, you've got to stay with it. You've got to be engaged. You've got to do the daily do, and you've got to just have faith in this industry because you already have faith in the Thrive experience that, your day and your time will come. It's never a straight line to the top. It's always the jagged.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Have you ever felt like, I don't know, like it, how it's kind of going backwards and it's like, oh my God, I'm on cloud 9. And then all of a sudden, like, no one's growing, your team's coming to you complaining, and then you go through like a rough season. Like we all know November and December suck in network marketing. Like, I mean, that's just my experience. Like everybody kind of like sits back and stops working. And then January comes, and a lot of people are waiting around, you know, for Lavelle to announce a bonus or something. And it's like, I notice people have a hard time. You know, I was on a Zoom the other day, and somebody had said, you know, if you take a week off your business, that's like a month. And if you take a month off, it's like starting over when you start again. Like consistency is so key. Like even when you don't see anything happening, like it's so hard sometimes to trust and have faith, because you're working it, you know, especially if you're new and you come in and you're doing all the things, you're getting on the Zooms and you're doing the things that your leaders are telling you, but yet you haven't signed that first customer yet, or you're going through a dry spell where you haven't signed a promoter in 3 months. And it's kind of hard to like keep the faith, thinking, are the things I'm doing, is it going to come around, is it going to change? And you know, you've been doing this 6 years. What's, you know, what do you do when somebody's in your inbox telling you, what, I don't know what's happening, I'm doing all the right things and nothing's happening?
Whenever anybody has those moments, that their cup is that's their Thrive cup. Their Thrive cup is nearing empty when people are reaching out and having that frustration. And my thing is, you got to fill that cup up again, whether it's getting to the fan page and literally reading 15 stories in a row, or an event, you know, getting your butt to an event, or getting to the YouTube page and watching some of those stories. Fill your Thrive cup up. You've got, there's just, it's so much of it is mindset. When those kind of thoughts start to kick in, you know, this industry is unlike any other. And yes, you taking days off makes it harder to get started, but I've always been a firm believer in celebrating little victories and giving yourself gold stars. You may not hit 4K in your first month, but hey, did you post every day? I mean, celebrate the things you are doing, because those things are getting you closer. But I find when you're most frustrated is when you really need to reach out. You shouldn't be frustrated on your own. You know, reach out to somebody, let them help you fill your Thrive cup. Let them pep talk you, let them give you some resources for books on mindset, or let them remind you the big picture, you know, your why, where you're going, what you want, your dreams, you know, all those things that make this really, really exciting. And definitely don't struggle in silence, because it's going to get easier and easier and easier to let that doubt fill your cup, and your cup is going to get depleted. So I feel like staying connected with somebody, you know, having a Thrive buddy is a really important thing.
You know, being in 6 years, it gets like harder because you go through your friends, you go through your family, and it's like, okay, I got to continue to like meet new people and add new people so that I can continue to grow my business. Do you have any like social media tips or tips about how you?
I love this part of it. I think it's because I had such a rock star, Brittany Beneke. For anyone who knows her, she's just so great at this relationships and networking. And so this is the part that I found really fun is, I've found different groups to join on Facebook and just contributing in those groups, commenting. I used to I used to make myself comment. I used to have a daily. In fact, I'm going to get back into this. I just made myself think, hey, I need to do that again. Where when I would go to comment, I would go to 3 different groups and I would comment on at least 10 different posts, and not just comment on the post, but like reply to some of the people that were posting, just to start kind of, you start to see kind of the same names and they would reply back to you. I tried to keep track of kind of the people I was commenting on, maybe eventually friend requesting, but joining groups and posting memes. Like I am in a couple, I started Orange Theory about a month ago, and I've been in these Orange Theory groups, and I find these funny memes to post, and I have grown my friends list now by like 25 just by posting these memes and people saying, commenting and then responding. I love the relationship building part of it, because once I get those people as my friend, I'm able to expose them to those stories and my timeline and the DFT, and I don't even have to initially reach out. A lot of times they're kind of new to this, and it's like I have somebody new that has no idea what the Thrive experience is. Because after 6 years, my friends, they know I'm thriving. They know what it's all about. So it's fun to have these new people. So I recommend search for interests. Maybe you're a wine lover, or maybe you have a golden retriever, exercise, chocolate, whatever your groups, these groups that you can find. Rachel Hollis, Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, get into these groups and, start making those connections.
Yeah, I think that, everybody that's on here, if you're not loving that aspect of building relationships, you've got to get to that place, because that's what this is all about. Like if you stop doing that, then your business is going to stall. It's definitely going to stop growing. Um, if I'm like in your inbox today and I'm like, hey Molly, I'm ready to get started with this. Walk me through like what you do with somebody that's brand new and that maybe like that first 14 days to that first month.
Well, I definitely, get them on the phone. It's so, it's so much easier to answer questions and explain. And I don't want to overwhelm people. I think that the biggest mistake we can make is to try and throw everything. You got to be in this page and that page and that page and that page. And then you need to get 2 customers and 2, there's so much information, and it makes it a little more overwhelming than it is fun. So we always start with just kind of painting the picture, finding out what their goals are, working on getting that for free. Starting with those 2 customers is the best way to start anyone, because obviously the goal is going to be thriving for free, but you can go so much further when you've got 2 people that are interested. You can potentially, tell those people about the VIP 800 bonus. I use Maria's 14-day training bot for the VIP 800 bonus, because I think it walks people through how to post and gives people ideas on how to post, different things that they can do when they don't know what to do. So I love keeping it simple. We say, keep it simple, Susan. And we just try to focus on the stories, focus on what they're experiencing, and letting their friends know that they are going to be sharing this, because first of all, they want to earn it for free. And second of all, they're excited about it. So starting people, getting them on the phone, kind of starting to paint the picture, and helping them get excited about just the first little piece of the puzzle before we dive into the rest of it. If that makes
I
any
like
sense.
that. No, I like that overwhelming people, because I think sometimes we're like, okay, um, go study your cloud office and there's videos there, and then make sure you're plugging into 50 Zooms, and make sure like
Yeah.
people are like, and I love how you said it takes the fun out of it. Like this has to be fun for people, and you have to keep them engaged, like if it's not, they're going to get overwhelmed really quick. I mean, I remember working 70 hours a week with 5 kids and taking on something like this, thinking I don't have the time. So if somebody were throwing like all of this stuff at me, I probably would have quit, because it would have scared me. And I think we got to give people that chance to see, look,
And
yes,
we
there's a
don't
lot
want,
going
yeah.
on, but you don't have to do all of it.
And we want people to know that we're here as a resource. We're here to be their validation, but we don't want people to think that they have to do something for us. Like, I think that people will be pretty easily turned off if they feel like you're wanting to grow your team and not pouring into them. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think we have to remember that the newest thriver is so excited about how they're feeling, and remember that. Remember that it's all about the story, them sharing, who can they tell next, who can they help. And that's why when we get people started, we really, really just try to focus on a story, their story, even having them send it to the fan page. Because think about how cool it was when you were first published on the fan page. I mean, your friends don't have to know that anybody can send a story and get posted on the fan page. But if you're a new thriver and you're able to and people are tagging you and saying, look, her story was published on our, the Lavelle fan page. I mean, that's a big deal, and that's really exciting for people, and that's great validation for friends. So we try and focus on, stories right from the get-go.
Yeah, I love that. And that reminds me, for everybody on here, when is the last time you submitted your story to the fan page? I mean, just like you said, the people watching don't realize anyone can do that, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
cool to be able to say, look, oh my
Yep.
gosh, look who was featured on this business
Exactly.
page.
And that's what they think too. That's what they think. They think you were featured, you were picked, you were published. So I mean, that's a great tool, and use those words, when you're shouting people out, highlighted, focused, featured.
Yeah, I agree. So, what about, have you ever had like a leg or a leader kind of go rogue? Like maybe they just don't like you, or they don't want to work with you, or they're like kind of isolating their team. Like, I have a lot of that. I think we all have a lot of that that happens where, I'll have a leader come to me and they're like, man, I just feel like this leg will not plug into me, or this person doesn't want anything to do with me, or so and so doesn't like me. And that, I know that can be hard. I mean, I remember, when I first got started in this, if somebody didn't like me, I would cry. I would be like, why doesn't
Yeah,
this
me
person
too.
like me?
You
Why
know,
aren't they plugging in?
exactly,
Wait,
exactly.
what's your thoughts? Any advice on that?
Well, I hope that I don't, like so I've been doing this for a long time, and I did the same thing in the beginning. I felt I took everything personally. And like I said, I kind of let that comparison sneak in, and I saw what other people were doing, and I need, I'm not doing that as well, or everyone else is going to like them better because they're doing that. That's a waste of time. And so I hope my answer doesn't sound tough, but I kind of got my toughness about this answer from Maria. And again, doing this for so long, what matters at the end of the day? What matters is GPOT, getting people on Thrive. There are different leadership styles throughout this company. There are people that are going to like my brand of, shiny, happy leadership. And there are people that are going to like somebody who's a little bit, hey, let's go, regimented. There are so many different styles of leadership. And the whole entire point of Lavelle and what Paul and Jason have built for us is the resources are there. So whoever wants to plug into, as long as at the end of the day, it's get people on Thrive. That's truly what it is. So people who are going to call me and say, I can't work with this person, or I would, that's fine. You don't have to work with that person, but there's upline support that's going to, but you aren't really allowed to say that, because the truth is, moving forward, we work with everyone, we help people, we share stories, we connect people to resources. That's the bottom line. All of the rest of it is just stuff that's going to happen no matter what your job is, no matter what your goal is. There's always going to be relationships and struggles and issues like that. So you have to kind of put that aside and think about, what is the goal? What is important today is that I'm plugging somebody into where they need to be plugged in. And if they don't want to be plugged into me, I'm grateful that there is somebody else out there that will inspire them, because I want everyone to, I want big things for everyone in this business, because I know it's possible. I've seen it happen. I'm seeing it happen. I've personally been so incredibly blessed. And that's truly, at the end of the day, what everyone deserves out of this. So I just kind of have to say, let it go. Sing the song.
No, you do. And I think the other thing too is work with the people that want to work with you. If that's one person, then work with that person. I mean, I always look at it as, well, it frees me up for more time for the people that want my attention or time,
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care who people are motivated by, as long as they're motivated, right?
Yeah.
As
And there's
long
so
as
many,
they are motivated.
there's so many upline and so many team pages that people can connect to, that, that's the beauty of it.
Right. And the one thing I would say is, like, I think there's reasons why they have, there's suggestions or rules about not having a Facebook page before 200K. And honestly, I think it's an amazing rule, because first of all, how many pages do we need to put a person in? You know what I mean? Like, that is so overwhelming. But not
Mm-hmm.
only that, it's like exposing people to a lot of people, because you might not be somebody's cup of tea, or you might not inspire them the way someone else could. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's more of an ego thing, I think. Like, let go of the ego, and who cares where they're getting their information from or their help from. Is, it's making you a paycheck, right? If they're growing. So, focus on the good parts of it. Um, do you do a lot of self-development?
I think that's so important. I love reading books, podcasts. One of the things I've done pretty much since day one is, and it's different. I don't ever heard anyone else say they do it, so maybe it's weird, but I read quotes on Pinterest, and sometimes I talk in quotes now. Like, sometimes I'm like this quote encyclopedia, but I I think mindset's a really big part of this. When you have the proper mindset about what building this business is all about, and the objections and the things you're going to encounter and that kind of thing, you're kind of like rubber. Everything's going to bounce off of you. And a lot of these things that you've mentioned to me that will come up aren't going to affect you the same, because you get it. You get what's a part of it. That's a part of it. And so I started just reading positive or success or motivational quotes on Pinterest. I would just type that in, and then I would start reading, and pretty soon you see a lot of the same ones. And it's just, those are things that just kind of become ingrained in you. You know, you can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. You know, there's so many good things that I've learned from reading those quotes that will help me to continue moving forward. My very most favorite is just, when you think you've exhausted all possibilities, remember you haven't. And then I started reading books. You know, GoPro was one of the very first books I read by Eric Worre. I loved that book. Get Over Your Damn Self is another one I really liked. Right now I'm reading I'm That Girl. It's right here on my bedside. I just love, just any book that's going to make me that validation. For me, it's validation of what it's all about.
Leaders are readers. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my room right now. I've got 5 books over there, one next to me. I
Yeah.
can't get enough information. I just think it's so cool that we're in a industry like this where we actually get to take time to make ourselves better people. Like, I didn't have time for that before network marketing. I was too busy working 80 hours a week, like I was
Exactly.
too busy, like just worried about paying bills. And I think getting people in this industry, you really get to ask questions like, so what are your goals? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? And before, no one cared. You know what I mean? We're in such a cool industry that, people really care about people. And if you don't care about people, you're not going to make it. This isn't
Exactly.
the industry for you. It's time to get out. So I have, we'll wrap it up, but I just want to know, like, if you have 3 tips for any person that's on this call today that they must know to get through. You've been through 6 years, and if you could sum that into 3 things that you need to take with you on your journey in network marketing, what would it be?
First, objection is not a rejection. So what I mean by that is, people are going to have objections. People don't know what you know. So no matter what the objection, I don't have enough money, I don't need that, I'm fine as it is, or I feel fine, or whatever the objection is, remember, it's not a rejection. It's just a request for more information or maybe more time. 2, you've got to believe it, honestly. If you've heard me talk before, you've heard me share the story about, I went to the very first convention Lavelle had in Texas, and I wasn't 200K yet, so it must have been just about 3 months or so after I started, and everyone went up on stage that was like an 80K and above or something, and there were people on the stage that were talking, and I literally told my husband, I'm gonna be on that stage. Like, I just felt it and I believed it. And I think that having the belief that you can have what these other people are having, because, hey, here's another Molly quote factory encyclopedia. If you think you can't, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So you have to believe that you can do this and have the success that you want. And then lastly, just keep going, just keep swimming. I mean, that might be the lamest one in the book, but you guys, it's the truth. You just have to keep moving. You have to, hey, if you don't like how it last week ended up, start again, start fresh, set yourself some daily goals, and give yourself some gold stars at the end of the day that you did those things. Instead of beating yourself up for what you didn't do, be proud of what you did do and know that you're taking steps forward. Always give yourself gold stars.
You mentioned, getting to an event, conference is right around the corner. It's coming up. And there's a lot of people on here that didn't get their ticket yet, or they're thinking, how important is this? Or should I go? How important is getting to try Palooza for you?
Yeah, I can't even express how important it is. Like it's like one of those, you see those like church camps where everyone's like, you just feel it. Like it's so, the energy in the room and the excitement. And once you see the spectacle of it now. I mean, hey, when I went 6 years ago, it was a dinky little stage with like folding chairs. Now it's a mega giant production, and it's so validating to see what this company has accomplished, and that you are a part of it. These are your people, you know, this is you, this is your company. And it's hard to put into words what it does, but man, you leave there with 500 full Thrive cups. Like, it's going to take a while for those cups to be depleted, because you are on cloud 9 and you are running fast, and you've got new goals and bigger dreams, and you are ready to go. So get
Yeah,
everyone to go with you too.
gosh, yes, get people there. You know, it's just so cool to see the fire that's created in people's bellies. And I'm sure you've seen it too, where you get somebody there that maybe was iffy and they leave and they're a completely different person. Like
Yeah.
everything, you know, their
It's
business just takes
they're
off because of
Well,
the
that's what it did
belief.
for my husband. My husband went with me that first. And, you know, sometimes husbands don't quite know, you know, this, he'd already seen me lug jeans around for, you know, $39 paychecks. And, you know, so he left that convention like, whoa, you know, this is it. We're doing this. So it definitely can be a pivot point.
Yes, if you have a negative spouse, get them to conference. I've never seen anyone bring their spouse that they didn't leave with their spouse's mind completely
Yeah.
transformed, twisted around. It's pretty magical what it can do. Well, Molly, I want to thank you so much for
I'm
hopping
so
on and
sorry about
spending.
the technical
Oh
difficulties.
my girl, it happens. Like, this isn't the first time, trust me. I love technology. I hate technology. But I want to thank you so much for just taking the last hour with us and sharing your heart and your tips and your story. And I know that there's people on here today that definitely needed to hear from you and have notes and have taken away so much. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if there's anything you ever need from me, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help out. I appreciate you. And to everybody that hopped on today, you guys, I'm proud of you. Like, when you get on this every week, you know, all 107 that are on right now, you're pouring into yourself, you're filling your cup. And it's so important to get on things like this, because to hear that, you know, other people are going through the same struggles that you've seen, and you know, the path that they've taken. I mean, we've heard from 200Ks that it's taken 4 years for them to hit 200K. We've heard from 200Ks that went fast, and you know, life's hit. Everybody has a story, and it's never a straight line to success. We think we find that out every week, which is kind of reassuring, right? It reassures us. We are about to get paid in 2 minutes, and I hope what you guys will do today is go make your awesome Tuesday payday post. You know, I can't express enough how Tuesdays have been a magical day for me, because when I make that post, I get so many reach outs. And it can just be a simple post. People, you know, I think sometimes we think my $20 paycheck doesn't mean anything. That is $20 more. That's $20 of gas in your car that someone else does not have right now. Share those things on Facebook, because that is the thing that watcher, somebody is watching you today, and it could be that post that they go, I need that $20. I want that extra $100 a month. I need to feel that way. And I think it's so important that we realize how powerful Tuesday payday posts can be. So make sure you go make that post. And next week, we have Aaron Aponte on with us. So make sure that you are setting your alarm, marking your calendars for next week. Same time, same place, same link, always. And thank you guys for joining us. And thank you again, Molly. I appreciate you. Have a happy Tuesday, you guys.